know, last night I called Hillary a nasty woman.
Nasty women are tough. Nasty women are smart. And nasty women vote. I'm not giving up, and neither should you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nasty Women Nation. My name is Ray. I want to thank you guys so much for listening. Basically, we are a group of ladies that is going to come together because we're, less than happy with our current political climate and the state of our country. And we were just looking for an outlet to kind of talk about what we think about it and what we think about basically everything that's happening this week in politics. So if you guys wouldn't mind, if we could just go around, everybody just say their name and where you're from.
Okay, I am Wendy, and I'm in Houston.
And again, I'm Ray. I'm also in Houston.
I'm Kara, and I'm from Houston.
I'm Dexter, and I'm also in Colorado Springs. And I'm Katie, and I'm in Colorado Springs, obviously.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about before we get into our main topics is kind of, I know for me personally, it's been a really stressful week, and I've experienced my own share of just stupid people and a lot of frustrations with my own family because they all voted for our evil overlord, Donald Trump. So it's been a rough first week. There's been a lot of tears and a lot of arguments. What have each of you kind of experienced in the first week in Trump's America? Let's go, Dex. What do you think?
It's been a lot of panic and just fear in general. Just seeing who is being appointed to all these cabinet positions just really scares the shit out of me. Because, obviously I'm a woman, I'm queer, I'm disabled. I have family that has voted for Herr Fuhrer, and they don't see a problem with it, and they apparently don't see that, I'm going to be suffering because of this, and a lot of other people are going to be suffering because of this. And so there's been basically just a lot of fear and frustration.
Katie, what about you?
Pretty much the same. I have kind of had to suffer through work, which oddly enough, I think most of the people at my work are kind of apathetic about it, but the customers are largely old white men, and all of them were pretty gleeful and excited, as though something was going to change for the better for them, as though their lives hadn't been doing really well for the last 8 years as far as the manufacturing sector goes. My family's kind of split down the middle, and really weird politically and socially. It's just the people I follow on Twitter and all of my friends and stuff. You are seeing a lot of panic and a lot of stress, and I've been trying to do what I can to help people process that. I don't fall into that camp that's like, oh, it's going to be okay, everything will be fine, because we have A, no way of knowing that, and B, things are actually not fine right now. My best friend, Dex's good friend, is up in Denver, and Colorado's really made a heck of a shift to the left in the last 8-12 years. It might be something to do with legalizing pot that seems to help people.
Everybody's gotten very groovy about everything.
Yeah, I'm hoping Florida will maybe turn itself around here, but our good friend was up in Denver, and she was verbally harassed and told to go back home, and she was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So, and they did this in front of her children, and it in broad daylight, that kind of stuff. And my own father was like, oh, well, it was a plant. Which I haven't even spoken to him yet, because I'm still trying to figure out how much of it's going to be non-legible shrieking and how much of it will be coherent, because it's amazing how many people don't want to believe the total uptick in hate crimes that are happening. And they're so convinced that it's not true. And if you provide them with proof, it's liberal media, immediate, kind of, oh, well, we can't believe that. It didn't come from Fox News or Breitbart or some other weird alt-right station.
Yeah, it's more than scary. It's terrifying. And what about you, Kara?
For the most part, I've managed to stay pretty cloistered this week, and I have stayed with like-minded people. I have not discussed the issue with my family because, hands down, I am the only liberal member of my family, including I have a gay cousin who just got married earlier this year. Huge deal, right, that he can finally have the right to get married. even he is pro-Donald Trump. He loves the man, and he has spent the last few days just posting article after article and trying to convince all of his LGBT family and friends that Donald Trump is on our side, like he loves us. And like, no, like this is absolutely insane. So him, I finally put on a restricted list and unfollowed, but for the most part, I've really avoided people who don't think like me because it's been so anxiety-ridden. Like, I just can't handle it. I can't handle any more crying bouts. Like, I just have to make it through my workday. It's also been really, this week has really driven home the point that I am so privileged when I read these stories about people who had these interactions with strangers based on their race or where these people think they're from or if they're in the LGBT community. When you look at me, all you see is white woman married to a man. You can't see anything else about me that would potentially set someone off. And so I've become really hyper aware of that this week. It's still not been fun by any means, but definitely I've had a lot easier than a lot of people.
I feel very fortunate in the fact that I have a job where I have an office with a door this week. I can say is the main thing, because I know I've got other people that are out in the cubicle land that you can't run and hide from listening to the crazy talk over the other side of the cube or the pats on the back or any of that. Wendy, what about you?
For me, I have been trying to avoid everyone. It's so bizarre because in my department, I'm the only woman, and I'm also the only white person in my department. My boss, he is an immigrant, and the other guys in my department, I have one who is Hispanic and two who are African American, and they are all big conservative fans of Donald Trump. And I don't understand the logic there. And listening to some of the conversations that I've heard between them talking about how excited they are. I mean, my boss, he's a Buddhist, for Pete's sake, but he is vehemently opposed to gay marriage, and he is actually looking forward to... I know, it's hilarious. I don't understand that at all. I understand, the Hispanic culture, and I understand that the African American culture, they tend to be more Christian than others, and when you've got the influence of the church, you do have a tendency to be biased against gay marriage. But then when you start looking into Buddhism, it's supposed to be a lot more laid back and not judgmental of other people. But sure enough, he and these other guys, they're just tickled silly that there's a possibility that that's going to get overturned. And it's scary. I've been spending all of my time out in the field as much as humanly possible. I'm looking forward to next week because I've got a class all week long. And so I don't even have to be in the office around people who I know. I can just go and sit in a classroom with a bunch of people I don't know and keep my mouth shut. So that's probably the safest place for me right now.
Fair enough. Well, the first question I wanted to talk about kind of feeds into what we've already just been talking about. What are the biggest fears that you guys have with this administration? I mean, and it's not even Donald Trump. You've got his amazing freaking VP, Mike Pence, who is literally one of the scariest figures that I've seen come onto the stage in a while. Kara, what do you think about your biggest fears for this administration?
I don't even know where to start. There's so many. I will tell you that when I woke up Wednesday morning and I asked my husband, is this real? Did this happen? Did he really win? My first thought was that I wasn't going to be able to speak out or have an opinion. He was going to just really cut into that First Amendment, and journalists weren't going to be able to cover him, and people weren't going to be able to criticize him because I don't think he can handle it. So that was a big one. And then my next thoughts are abortion rights and the right to choose, and just it goes down the line. Like, I just feel like most of our rights are going to be slowly or maybe quickly eroded away.
That's pretty solid, considering how he's been through this whole election process. Katie, Dex, what do you guys think?
Like, the two biggest ones right now are the loss of the healthcare thing, because that my family's been on the ACA since the beginning of the year, and my kid's been having a lot of issues, and my husband's got some issues, and they both have pre-existing conditions. So if they dump that, my options are to go through my work insurance, which will cost me double what I'm paying right now, and that's not really tenable. or to not have insurance anymore, which basically means that we're not going to survive. So that's terrifying. And I've been doing a lot of reading in the last couple of days, and the other big fear is basically just complete economic collapse because this guy has no clue what he's doing, business-wise or otherwise. And a lot of this stuff that's going to get implemented, people are talking, like respected economists and stuff like that, where they just say this is just going to go downhill. And it may not be fast, but it is going to, it's not going to work the way everybody seems to think it's going to work. Jobs aren't going to go up, food's not going to go down, gas is not going to stay down where it was. Obama managed to get $1 trillion off of the national debt. That's going to go right back to the freaking roof. We can look at my husband's disability through the VA being cut, all sorts of crap. But those are probably the two biggest fears as far as it goes for me just right this second. There's a host of others, but, my decks can cover those.
Yeah. Right now, the one that's right at the forefront of my mind is the healthcare issue. Like I said, I'm disabled. I'm diabetic. I have a host of other issues that makes me basically I'm a walking pre-existing condition. So I have all that to worry about. I don't have insurance right now. I lost my job 7 months ago, and I had insurance through there. And ever since then, I've had, my prescriptions are still valid, and I keep renewing them through the pharmacy, but eventually that's going to run out. And, I can't even afford Obamacare right now. Like, I'm getting by just by the skin of my teeth. And that's my biggest concern right now. And then there's also the, abortion issue, birth control issue, which they're not only are they wanting to get rid of abortion completely, they're also wanting to restrict birth control access because, women, we can't control our own bodies, so whatever. And, and then there's also the rampant racism and homophobia that I've been seeing happening all over the place. And it's not just, in places where you kind of typically expect to see that. Like Katie was saying, our friend got yelled at, told her to go back to where she came from. And one of my friends owns a bar in Denver. He, woke up Wednesday morning to go to work and found giant Trump spray painted across the front of the building. It's mostly been my Hispanic friends that have been getting the worst of it, being told, go ahead and pack your bags, you're going to be gone soon, and things like that. And it just makes me sick. Yeah, there's probably a lot I could go on about, but I want to give everybody else a chance to talk.
What about you, Wendy?
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of what everybody's been saying. Obviously, I am not as afraid of Trump himself. I think that he is all talk and temper, but Mike Pence is the quiet menace in the background. He's the one who's actually going to be pushing his agendas because Trump himself has no idea what he's doing. He got elected just on proving he could. And Pence is the one who actually has an agenda. He wants to pass, reproductive restrictions. And the thing that baffles me is all these people, they want to eliminate abortion, and they don't understand that the most effective way to do that is comprehensive sex education and access to affordable birth control. So you can't just say, no, abortions are illegal. You have to account for, how babies are made in the first place. So
Wait. Are you saying that we're not all Barbie and Ken dolls down there?
No, not at all. And we need to teach our kids and
they just appear.
Yes, we need to make sure that these kids are understanding how this happens and knowing where to get their birth control and being able to afford it in the first place. I know that Colorado recently, in the last few years at least, started offering long-term birth control in the form of IUDs and things like that, and it lowered the teen pregnancy rate, it lowered the abortion rate, and that's one of the most shining examples of how exactly that works. Also, he's definitely got an anti-gay agenda. Mike Pence was the champion there in Indiana who passed all of the anti-gay laws and religious discrimination. And I know that he and Trump have also been promising to do that nationwide. And so I know that that's on their first 100 days. They're looking forward to appointing Supreme Court justices who will overturn Roe v. Wade,